Cinderella was never waiting for love. She was waiting for someone to notice that she had been disappearing for years. As children, we were told this was a story about kindness, magic, and a prince. A poor girl suffers, stays good, goes to the ball, loses a glass slipper, and is finally saved. But when you hear the story as an adult, it becomes much darker, because Cinderella is not really the story of a girl who wanted a palace. It is the story of a child who was turned into a servant inside her own home, a child who learned that being quiet was safer than being angry, that being useful was safer than needing anything, that if she worked hard enough, stayed gentle enough, and made herself small enough, maybe one day, someone would finally love her. This is not a love story. This is the story of emotional neglect. And the saddest part is not that Cinderella slept near the ashes. The saddest part is that she learned to call it normal. After her father disappears from the center of the story, Cinderella is left in a house where she technically belongs, but emotionally does not exist. She has a room, but no safety, a family, but no tenderness, a home, but no place. And this is what emotional neglect often feels like. It does not always look like violence. It does not always leave visible bruises. Sometimes, it looks like being ignored every day until you stop expecting to be seen. Her stepmother and stepsisters do not just take her comfort. They take her identity. They stop treating her like a daughter. They stop speaking to her like a person. They reduce her to what she can do for them. Clean this, carry that, fix this, stay there, be useful, be silent. And slowly, Cinderella becomes valuable only when she is serving. This is why the story still hurts, because many people grow up this way without calling it abuse. They become the responsible one, the quiet one, the helpful one, the one who does not make trouble, the one who asks for nothing, because asking always seemed to make things worse. And when a child is loved only when they are easy to manage, they do not learn self-worth, they learn performance. They learn to earn affection by disappearing. Cinderella's kindness is usually presented as her greatest virtue, but maybe some of her kindness is also survival. When anger is punished, you become polite. When sadness is ignored, you become useful. When no one protects you, you learn to protect the peace. And people will praise you for this. They will call you mature. They will call you good. They will call you strong. But sometimes, what they are really praising is the fact that your pain does not inconvenience them. This is the hidden wound beneath Cinderella. She is not just kind, she is trained to be harmless. She does not fight back, because somewhere deep inside, she has learned that fighting back will not bring love. It will only bring more punishment. Then comes the ball. As children, we see the ball as the beginning of romance. But psychologically, the ball is something else. It is the first time Cinderella is allowed to be visible, not useful, not dirty, not small, not hidden in the ashes, visible. For one night, she is not the girl who cleans the house. She is the girl everyone looks at, and that is why the magic matters. The dress, the carriage, the shoes, they are not just fantasy. They represent the self she was never allowed to become. The version of her that existed beneath years of humiliation. The version that had beauty, dignity, and presence before anyone gave her permission. But even this freedom has a limit. Midnight. The magic will disappear. The dress will vanish. The carriage will turn back. The world will remind her where she belongs. And that is painfully familiar for anyone who grew up emotionally neglected. You may have moments when you feel alive, moments when you feel confident, moments when you almost believe you are worthy, but then something inside you whispers, this cannot last. Soon they will see the real you. Soon you will be sent back. Soon the magic will run out. Because when you were taught to feel unworthy, happiness can feel temporary, love can feel borrowed, attention can feel dangerous, and this is why the glass slipper matters. It is not just proof that she was at the ball. It is proof that the hidden version of her was real. Someone saw her. Something remained. The night was not a dream. The slipper says, You existed outside of their version of you. You were more than the role they gave you. Many people remember Cinderella as the girl saved by a prince. But the deeper truth is this: the prince does not give her worth, he recognizes it, and there is a difference. If Cinderella only becomes valuable because someone chooses her, then the story becomes dangerous, because then it teaches us to wait for rescue, to wait for someone powerful to arrive, to wait for love to prove that we matter. But real healing cannot be built on being chosen by someone else. Because if your worth depends on being chosen, then you will always fear being replaced. The healthier reading is not that Cinderella needed a prince to become worthy, it is that she was worthy even when nobody in that house could see it. Before the dress, before the ball, before the slipper, before anyone came looking for her, she was already human, she was already deserving, she was already more than what they made her do. And maybe this is why the story survived for so long. Not because every wounded person wants a palace, but because every unseen person wants a witness, someone who says, I see what they tried to bury. I see the person underneath the role. I see the pain beneath your silence. Still, the most important witness cannot only be someone else. At some point, Cinderella has to see herself. Not as the servant, not as the unwanted girl, not as the one who should be grateful for crumbs of kindness, but as someone whose life was never meant to be reduced to survival. Because if you grew up like Cinderella, you may still carry the house inside you. You may still over-apologize. You may still feel guilty when you rest. You may still believe your needs are a burden. You may still become useful when you want to be loved. You may still stay silent, because silence once kept you safe. But you are not here to live forever in the ashes of someone else's cruelty. You are not here to earn love by becoming smaller. You are not here to prove your worth through exhaustion. You are not here to wait until someone finally chooses you, before you believe you matter. Cinderella was never about a prince saving a girl. It was about a girl who survived a home that taught her she was nothing. And the pain beneath the fairy tale is this: sometimes the hardest place to escape is not a house. It is the version of yourself that the house forced you to become. But that version is not all you are. You were not born to serve. You were not born to disappear. You were not born to be grateful for being tolerated. You were born with a self beneath the ashes, and one day, the healing begins when you stop waiting for magic and start remembering who you were before they made you feel invisible.